He's had more hard luck than most men could stand. The mines was his first love, but never his friend. He's lived a hard life, and hard he'll die.
Well, you know, what we're looking at behind us is Upper Big Branch mine where they had an explosion. They killed 29 workers. We've seen more miners come out after the explosion and start talking about, you know, the violations they had at Upper Big Branch, what they was working under, what conditions they was working under. Now that it took 29 lives for people to start speaking out, it's a shame, and it took 29 lives that, you know, before people could speak out.
An explosion at a coal mine in West Virginia, about 30 miles south of Charleston.
Federal regulators have identified highly explosive methane gas, coal dust, or a mixture of the two as the likely cause of the blast, but the ignition source is unknown.
As families cope with the deaths of more than 24 coal miners in West Virginia, we're learning more about the company they worked for. Richmond, Virginia-based Massey Energy Company holds more than 2 billion tons of coal reserves in 4 states.
Massey Energy has frequently been cited for safety violations at the mine, according to federal records, the U.S. Mine Safety and Health Administration, or MSHA.
In the past year, the federal government fined Massey $382,000 for repeated serious violations involving its ventilation plan and equipment at Upper Big Branch, the same mine where the explosion happened Monday.
The Charleston Gazette reports that last year, more than 10% of the enforcement actions taken by MSHA at the Upper Big Branch mine were for unwarrantable failure to follow safety rules, compared to about 2% at mines nationwide.
How can we fail them? How can a nation that relies on its miners not do everything in its power to protect them?
If the data that MSHA keeps was more complete and more accurate and more readily accessible to the public, it would have been easier for journalists and the public to know and to write about the sorts of problems they were having at the Upper Big Branch mine. I'm Ken Ward, Jr., and I'm a reporter at the Charleston Gazette. In covering mine safety and health issues around the coal industry, I deal a lot with the Federal Mine Safety and Health Administration, which is part of the Department of Labor, and I use both their website where they post a lot of data. I also use data that they make available to me through FOIA requests and raw data they post on their website through the Open the Government initiative. There has been a great change in the amount of data that's available to people. Now, a lot of that sort of information is available right there on the internet and can be looked at pretty easily. Of course, one of the problems with that is that the information that's on the internet is just really basic information. They're not putting inspectors' narratives and inspectors' reports and detailed descriptions of the violations on the web so that people can see that. And they're also not putting it on the web in a way that makes it easy to see, well, here's the top 10 mines that had the most violations last month. Right now they have it set up so that you can only search for one company at a time, one mine at a time. You can't pull up all of Massey Energy's mines all at once. That sort of information is not being compiled and posted by MSHA in a way that the public or people in mining communities can really see it and use it to demand safer mines.
If they could have detected what mines was the most dangerous mines, I believe they could have taken some action. My name is Chuck Nelson. I grew up in Sylvester. I spent my entire life there. I worked nearly 30 years as an underground coal miner. 21 of those years was in the union, and the last 7 or 8 years was with a non-union company with Massey Energy. Everyone that worked at this mines knew they had a problem with this mines, but you know, what do? If you say something, you don't have a job. You don't have a job.
MSHA had not put this mine on what's called a pattern of violations, an order that requires more scrutiny by the agency and tougher penalties for violations. They hadn't put it on that sort of order because of a computer glitch within the agency where a number of past violations weren't being counted against the mine toward getting it on that tougher enforcement track. And if MSHA isn't able to actually maintain and analyze the data itself, I'm not so sure how the agency can expect the public and the media to be able to do